Can you believe that you're almost there? It's coming quick. I got to thinking about that and thinking about starting this meeting today and wondering, how do you do this? You guys, our students, and students across the nation have been phenomenal in your dedication and your zeal to carry forward. The students and the children have done a better job at times with dealing with this pandemic and doing what we need to do to survive it and get on the other side, and I'm so very, very proud of you. You need to be proud of yourselves for the endurance and adapting and adjusting so that you can achieve the things that you want in life. And very, very soon, I think we will be back to our normal. It's going to be a new normal, I think. But very, very soon, we are going to be back where we saw ourselves just a short time ago. Today is March 3rd, and I believe the last day that we were officially in school in a normal season or in a normal year was about March 16th or so. I didn't look at the calendar, but pretty close to that a year ago. So we thank you so much for your time today. I am Mrs. Cruikshank. If we have some new people that have joined us here at Capitol High School, I am, starting this school year, your curriculum assistant principal. I have changed roles, and we want to introduce to you our counselors. I see a couple, three. You guys want to come down and introduce yourselves. Maybe tell us a little bit about yourself, where you come from, a little bit of your backing, because you are still relatively new. We have a new member of our counseling staff, and I will let him introduce himself, but we will start right here.
I am Mrs. Vickers. I'm your counselor if your last name is A through E. By now, we hope all of you know who your counselor is. If not, you need to maybe come and see us more often. This is my 4th year here at Capitol. Before Capitol, I was actually an elementary school teacher before I became a counselor. Some of you may know that. I'm going to go ahead and let Ms. Phillips talk. She has the next section of the alphabet.
Hi, I am Mrs. Shauna Phillips. I have the students with the last names F through J. I have been at Capitol for 2 years. Prior to Capitol, I was at Horace Mann Middle School.
Hello everybody, I'm Mr. Clark. I'm the new guy, obviously. I have the last names K through Q. I've been at Capitol for about 6 months now, I believe. Before that, I did my undergrad at WVU in PE and health, and then did my master's at Marshall for counseling. Went to Sissonville High School, not too far from here. Played basketball. So.
My name is Tanisha Poor, and I'm the counselor for the last names R through Z. I've been here 7 years, and I graduated from here in 1995.
Thank you so much. And there's been so much going on behind the scenes. Our counselors have had to be movers and shakers in multiple ways, find avenues, find room in classes, change kids from e-learning to face-to-face. Our teachers have had to adapt and adjust. But at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, we are all working for each and every one of you for that wonderful day in 2022 graduation. Okay? We do have a few things we want to go over with you today. To start with, you were given 2 pieces of paper. One is on canary yellow, the other is a white sheet of paper. This white sheet of paper is a combination of a credit sheet check and something called a PEP. A PEP is your personal education plan. The state of West Virginia requires that every student in West Virginia have a PEP, know what it is, and to be working toward your goals that you have to drive your high school choices toward the career path of your selection, of your choice. Ms. Vickers is going to share a little bit more about PEPs. Then we're going to talk about the career clusters, and that's the main focus of bringing this up in here today with you.
The PEP is, like Ms. Cruikshank said, the personalized education plan that's issued by the State Department. You should have a PEP on file. You may remember meeting with an 8th grade teacher or your 8th grade counselor and filling out a PEP. It was on a colored piece of cardstock. That PEP follows you to high school, and it has your course preferences. What kind of cluster you would like to be in throughout high school. And it doesn't necessarily have to stay that way. We can all change our minds. I know I changed my mind for my college major the very first semester. So it's not set in stone. But the reason why we gave you that piece of paper, the white paper today, is because sometimes in the transition between middle school and high school, we don't always get our hands on that PEP. And especially if you have transferred in from another school outside of Kanawha County, more than likely you did not come here with a PEP. So when you look at that paper today, we want you to write down your personal information, just your name, your grade level, student number, and mark down which cluster you think you chose as an 8th grader, or if you're not sure and you want it to be something different, mark that down. Because we are going to try to go back as we schedule with you and make sure that your PEP is with your credit sheet. So like I said, if you don't remember what it said initially, we can change that easily and just put it on file with your credit sheet. There's something else I was going to say about the credit sheet. No, but we could look at the course offering sheet, the yellow paper. We will be meeting with all of you in your English classes coming up very soon, March 10th through the 12th. By that time, you will have had plenty of time to look at this course offering sheet in addition to the PEP with a parent, preferably, so that you know what it is that you do want to take next year. If you look at the top and you start with English, you're definitely going to have to make one selection from those 5 choices, but if you see in parentheses, and this is going to be the same for many things listed down this paper, it will say, for example, English 102 College Beach. Well, you can only take that if you have already taken English 101 and 150 right now. If you're in that right now and you want to stay on that dual credit track, that's what you will check for next year. If you've never taken dual credit English in high school, you will sign up for English 101 and 102 your senior year. If you don't want to do any kind of dual credit, you will choose between General English, Honors English, and perhaps AP English Lit. So that's just one content area where you can see how things are listed, and the way it's worded can guide you in the choice that you select. Because when we get to those English classes, we're going to think for the most part that you've gone down through here and selected everything that you think you need. And if you have questions, we're going to be in the room so that you can ask and we can look it over before you submit your request on a Google Doc. Do you remember doing that last year, filling out a Google Doc? And all of you should know, in a normal school year, we pull you into our offices one at a time and we ask you about your course selections and put them in your schedule. We couldn't do that last year because of COVID. We had to schedule from home, and it was quite challenging because we had to try to call people and get a hold of you if we didn't have your responses in the Google Doc. Also, keep in mind, I was going to discuss credits. You have to have 24 credits to graduate from high school. Some of those credits, I believe it's 18, are your core credit requirements, being 4 English credits, 4 math credits, 3 science credits, 4 social studies credits, and then you have room for electives, 6. That is something that we will also go over with you if you have credit concerns. If you know that you have credits to make up, make sure you're addressing that with your counselor. We can put you in credit recovery. There's 5th block. There's options for you to get caught up. Is there anything else, Ms. Cruikshank, that I'm not thinking of?
I think you're doing a great job. Bright group of students. They are able to read. Most of you guys know that we don't want to bore you and read them off to you, but you know that there's an asterisk beside those that are honors and advanced. In order for class requests to be filled, you have to have enough students sign up for those specialty classes. So for instance, I'll pick biology honors. I know we're going to have kids in biology honors, but let's say for some reason we fall short and we only have enough for 3 sections of biology, and the 3 sections, and then there's 2 or 3 more students that requested it. Somewhere along the line, we may have to close that out and add something else in there. So I do want you to take the yellow paper home with you today. I want you to be having conversations over the next several days with your parents about where you are headed. There is one addition at the bottom, and something about the risograph copier grabbed it. That is supposed to say guitar 1 and 2 on the very bottom. So if you want to pencil that in, it is guitar 1 and 2, semester courses each. The back side of this, in case you haven't flipped it over, continues with all of the electives. Capital High School offers one of the most diverse schedules, probably the most diverse, most busy schedule in Kanawha County. It is one of the most complicated because we offer so many things to our students. I do want to mention the concept of the embedded credit within your performing arts, classes within the sports realm. If you play a sport and you have not taken PE, now that's probably not going to apply to this group, but you can actually pick up either a non-graded check mark so that you do not have to go through a regular PE class in the gymnasium with the PE teacher, or you can take an additional 2-week course that is already pre-built in Schoology, along with being an athlete, or along with being someone in performing arts, in dance, show choir, VIPs, band, all of those areas. You can take a class and pick up, while you're getting that fine arts credit, or that dance class credit, you can also then get your PE credit and never step foot in the gymnasium. What does that do for you? It opens up another slot in your schedule so that you can take something else that you are passionate about and that you want to take from our electives, okay? So that is something that we want to try to help and help kids take advantage of, so that frees you up to take other things. The bottom. Look at the very bottom of the back side of this. A couple of things are changing within driver's ed, and we're going to be pairing that. It's been paired with current events and world religions. And we have a plan worked out with Mr. Root. We're going to be able to offer additional sections of driver's ed, so I think that's something that this class may very well be interested in. And he's going to be working with us so that we can get more students through his program. Specialized electives, CTE programs. If you have started in one of our CTE programs, we offer all of those that you see listed on the right, starting with the robotics, careers and education, that's our daycare. We have a business program, a marketing program. We have 4 years of the ROTC, that is also a CTE completer course. We have the law and public safety that's taught by Corporal Bales, multimedia publication, graphic design, and then we have the career work skills training. This is something that is new, and this is one that I think will interest several of you. This is a course that is supervised this year by Miss Brindley. And it's only offered to seniors. And here are the stipulations for that class. If you have all of your credits up to date and you would like to leave school after 6th period, we are looking at an 8-period day next year. So if you want to get out of here early every day, here's how you do it. You have to be on track to graduate. You only need your core senior classes scheduled. Counselors will work with you to ensure that that takes place. You need a part-time job where you work a minimum of 15 hours a week and that you actually earn a paycheck, not just babysitting for Aunt Susie, okay? It has to be an actual paycheck. Have your own transportation to and from school, and that could be a parent or guardian that can commit to coming and getting you if necessary. Continue to do well and keep good grades your senior year. You've got to keep the academics up, because if you start to let that slide, then we're going to pull you back in so we can get you graduated. Okay? And you have to complete the required assignments for a senior portfolio with your work skills teacher. And no disciplinary. You can't have people skipping school and getting in trouble, leaving here and going out onto that work program. Please note at the bottom of your yellow sheet on the back side, each one of those are broken down into 9 weeks. And it is a 1 credit for the whole term, but it is work skills training for the first 9 weeks. Second 9 weeks goes into experience 1, training 2 for the third 9 weeks, and work experience for the fourth 9 weeks. There are assignments that go with you being able to go out and work. But basically, long story short, you get a credit for having a job. Sound good? I think so. I think that's one of the neatest things coming and going. I believe that's what I have, Ms. Vickers. Anything at all, you can jump in. And then other counselors, things that we've missed, anything that you want to add to.
I would like to say about the work program, we've all had several students last year and this year in that program. It was brought to us last year, first time in a very long time that Kanawha County has offered that program. Just so you know, when it says you have to work 15 hours a week, that doesn't mean that you have to work every single day. When you still have the privilege of leaving school early, even if you're not going to work that day, you can acquire your hours over 2 or 3 days. So keep that in mind as well. It really is a privilege to be able to do that program as a senior.
Mr. Clark, Mrs. Poore, Mrs. Phillips, additional comments? Okay. The week of the 10th through the 12th, we have scheduled to be in your English classes. The counselors are going to help you go through and submit that Google form. What we do by doing that, after you've had your discussion with them, and the counselors, this is very important, I want the counselors to look over your iPad before you hit the submit button. That way, if you've accidentally selected the wrong thing, or the counselor reminds you, hey, don't forget, we got to put you in grad support because you failed English 9 first semester. We've not made it up. Those types of things, I want them to have that opportunity to help you get that as correct as possible. And you're thinking, why? The results that come and the tally that comes from that Google form is going to help myself and the counselors build our master schedule. Okay? If the numbers are off, classes are going to be off. All right? And we want to try our very best to ensure that you get what you are asking for. Student requests come first. Teachers' requests come second. We love them dearly, but you are the reason we are here. Okay? Please, please, please do not lose this. Make your notes on this paper, on the yellow paper. Write your questions. Mark the classes that you think you would like to take as your electives. And if you've already made your mind up and you know, I will mention there are a couple of new classes here for seniors. We are offering a financial algebra. That is new in addition to the transitions. Some students that are not following that higher level and going into the Calc 2, 3, 4, into those levels, you have the opportunity to take transitions. Mrs. McClung will be teaching that. She will also be the teacher of the financial algebra, and it basically covers Algebra 1 with real-world experience. Well, what do you mean, Ms. Cruikshank? How many of you can't wait to buy a car, or maybe already have? When you get there and they start running those numbers at you, you want to be certain that you are making a sound financial decision and that you're not paying too much for that vehicle. You need to know about banking and finance, purchasing a home, mortgage loans, all the terminology and things that go with that, because believe it or not, it all ties back to algebra. So that's how that program will work. And hopefully teach you to invest and save money. Okay? The other couple of classes that are added on here that are new, I'll point those out real quick, are over in science with astronomy. Mr. Drake is hoping to solicit enough students to teach an astronomy section, and Mr. Bill Dorsey has expressed a big desire to maybe teach a section or two of zoology. So again, it depends on the numbers and what we are able to provide there. Miss Tabby Moore is teaching a dance class for athletes. It is about agility and movement that contribute back to and go along with all of those things that are kinesthetically appropriate in advancing your athletic skills on the field or on a court. But it also pulls you into the classroom and you learn some things about movement and dance. That class will also, if for some reason you are shy of PE credit, take that 2-week course I mentioned earlier. That will also allow you to pick up fine arts. It will allow you to pick up a PE. So those are some really cool things that we have coming. I think that is all we have for you guys. The one thing that we do want back from you, the paper that is this is a PEP credit sheet. It's kind of a mixture of the two documents. Please ensure that you have your name on here. Please ensure that you have a working phone number. I cannot stress that to you enough. Write it so we can read it, folks. This is your future, and if we can't get a hold of kids as we schedule, we're going to try a few times, and then when we can't get a hold of you, we're going to make your schedule for you, because we have to be ready when the doors open. And my hope and goal is to have every single student at Capital High School in Capital High School. If you like we talked about earlier, if you remember which career cluster you are in, please mark that. If you have a question or you think it's one or two of them, go ahead and mark them. Be thinking about that. I'm going to be uploading some documents very soon onto Schoology, and you'll be able to see and list some of those the county put out, and I'm assuming it's county, you saw this. And it's just a collection of what the clusters are, what classes that go along with it. For instance, finance, business math, computers, keyboarding, statistics, economics, business law, algebra, accounting, English. They list basically everything that would fit into that career cluster. So I'll be posting that online for you to look at as well. And the career cluster names are listed on this document. But for today's purposes, we are going to ask for this to be your exit ticket from the theater. Okay? So, unless you guys have thought of something else. Okay?